Our next panelist, he is a director and actor who has directed over 50 short films and a bunch of features, including the 2021 Help, who is right now streaming on Tubi. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Blake Ritter. Last but not least, he is an innovative director. He is a social media powerhouse with a following of over 7 million with an M with 2 commas. He is the master of the one shot. Let's welcome to the stage, Mr. Drex, please.
It's actually 20 million, yeah.
Oh, I'm not updated on my facts. I apologize. 20 million. What an achievement. What an achievement. So, this is our panel today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to come down to this part of the stage. We are going to take a group photo with this amazing crowd. What do y'all say? Yeah. All right, everybody, let's get up on our feet. Let's bring the energy. Let's be the hottest booth at NAB 2025 right now. Thank you very much, guys. Grab a seat. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's get into the meat of today. What do you say, guys?
I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, pocket-sized blockbusters. Like I was saying, this means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. We could be talking about gear, going from the the Venice 2 all the way down to our iPhones and Samsung phones, right? All right, and budget as well. $150 million down to free. Phone costs money, $1,500. $1,500. So, to take this away, you will want to hear from the masters. I'll start being quiet. YCImaging, why don't you tell us a little bit more about pocket-sized blockbuster and what does it mean to you and what you do?
I think for me, pocket-sized blockbuster is creating something with the resources that you have and not really breaking the bank, which is very feasible and possible, you know, with a lot of different techniques and mastering those and fundamentals. That's what it is.
Mr. Lee, what do you have to say about this particular topic? Because you shoot on your phone, so you live in this world.
I most definitely do live in this world. Hello, can you guys hear me? No! Can someone turn me up? Do I gotta shout? Do I gotta shout? Okay, I'll shout. All right, you guys. All right, is this better? But anyways, so like you just said, like piggybacking off what YC said, I definitely think that using the resources that you have. Coming down to my very first video, I used a Canon point and shoot A300 back in 2003 to create my first videos and experimenting, right? Because back then phones weren't that great. And then eventually I used that to hone my craft and then eventually become a full-time music video director by 2006, right? And I was able to upgrade to a better camera, but usually taking that to the next level, eventually taking me back to the bigger cameras. And then all the way up to 2020 where I realized, like, you know what? People want to have access to cameras and to filmmaking. And then everyone thinks the barrier to entry is all these crazy expensive cameras. And I wanted to show everyone that you don't really have to, right? That's why I took it back down to my phone, as you guys see in my social media. And then, showing that has really captivated the world by saying, you know what? All we need is whatever's in your pocket to create something epic. And that's what I intended to show.
Amazing, amazing. Mr. Ritter, what would you like to add to pocket-sized?
Basically what you've said really good. With the phone, it's getting a lot smaller, a lot quicker, a lot smarter, with a higher quality. I started shooting my first film on the iPhone 13, and there was no Apple Lot back then. But even then, I shot a film. It's a funny story. I actually went to Cannes Festival. We were in the airport. I had my phone with me, obviously. I said to my friend, why don't we just make a movie with my phone? Because obviously you have to get permission at the airport, right? With all the big rigs and crew. But I said, I've got my phone, I can shoot it. People think I'm doing the vlog. I said, yeah, let's do it. I just, on the spot, I thought, without dialogue, it's just all action. We started Then going into the airplane, I was shooting the aisle, going backwards, shooting my actress. And nobody realized I was shooting film. People were looking, going, what's going on here? And I shot the film, edited it. Everyone was like, how did you get permission? Where did you rent this plane? Where did you get those extras? I was just shooting, like people think I was doing the vlog with my friend. And that's the kind of like possibilities you can do with your phone. So just go for it. And now Pro with Apple Log. So yeah, it's just getting smaller and better.
Absolutely. Tom, as I introduced you, I said that you marry tech with storytelling. With this kind of scale, what goes through what's involved in the process?
Yeah, this one works good. So, just like you said, as long the gear doesn't necessarily matter as long as you have a strong story. It's like if you have a strong concept, you can be innovative, creative, and just work with the resources available, asking friends, pulling from locations that you have, your own house. You can definitely pull off a film with little to no budget, especially with an iPhone, and use a small gear.
Now, if somebody out in the audience gets a call for a very, very low budget, for example, right now one of our topic is the $100 blockbuster, big shots on a micro budget. What would you say is the one key advice that you would give the filmmaker if this is what they're up against?
Just like what I said, you have to be innovative and creative. Marcus, my friend right there, we had a 40-hour film, no budget, here, but to put the story to the next level and add some like real production value, instead of getting into underwater housing underwater housing, we got a fish tank and just submerged an FX6 underwater, and it really elevated the contest. So $6,000, $3,000 underwater housing, you get a fish tank, sandbag, and just be a little crafty with it.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for that. And Mr. Ritter, what advice would you give filmmakers if they're up against a micro budget project?
What I would say is, bigger budget doesn't make the film better. You can give someone 100 million, if they don't know what they're doing, it's going to be a bad film. You can give someone $10, and if they know exactly what they're doing, they're going to make a 10 times better film. So, story, and also, what I found is, when you have a low budget, you're forcing yourself to be creative. When you have a lot of budget, I can do this, I can do that, I can get a jet, I can get a plane, I can go to Mars. Well, with a low budget, you got to think creatively. You can't shoot everything you want. You can't have the nice shots, but you got to shoot the necessary shots. So you got to cut down and plan carefully and be creative and work with people that you can trust as well. That's important.
Absolutely. Work with people that you can trust. And Drex, what would you say?
I want your mic. All right, what I have to say about that, if a client asks you guys, can you make me a blockbuster for $100? Say no! Say no, I'm not gonna do it for $100 of a blockbuster. But if you had $100 and you wanna make a blockbuster for yourself, then yes, by all means do it, because I've done it plenty of times over the past 10 years, 15 years. I've done over 1,000 productions and over 1,000 professional productions, right? Where a client will be like, yo, we have this much, but you have to use red. I'm like, yeah, of course I'll do it with red, right? And I'll shoot it without telling them I did it with a red. I'll show them, oh, I love it. You shot it with the red? Yeah, I did, yeah. Then yes, do that. But even nowadays, right, when you watch film, you do watch for the quality that it produces, right? But sometimes you see movies that are shot a little vintagey, right? Then you're like, wait, they shot this movie for a couple $1 million and it looks like an old camcorder shot it, right? But that's what they're going for, vintage, right? So what I'm trying to say is that I guess it comes down to your quality of storytelling, right? You have to remember what you're holding, what you're shooting with is just a tool, right? It's just a paintbrush. It's up to you as an artist to decide what you want to paint, right? So you guys have to